Hi everyone. Today we talk about saboteurs. The original meanings of saboteur is somebody who intentionally causes destructions of a property to hinder their enemies. But the saboteurs we talk about here are common self-sabotaging behavior patterns. If you haven't already, you can find out who your saboteurs are by doing the assessment. I've included the link in the comment section. So there are 10 universal saboteurs. There are 10 universal ways that we self-sabotage. Imagine your mind is the property of the house. Your saboteurs are kind of like the permanent guest that lives there. Sometimes they are very gentle, they don't cause any disruption, and you hardly notice them. But some of them becomes very comfortable and powerful, and they might cause damage in your house and cause you disruptions, cause you headache and stress, etc. And that's exactly that. All of your negative emotions are caused by your saboteurs. For example, the master saboteur is the judge. There is a judge living in every single one of us. There's no exceptions. How does the judge work? Well, the judge finds out what is wrong. And this really comes from our evolutions as a human species. We must be very good in identifying what is going on with ourselves, the people that surround us, and the environment. Our survival brain is very evolved. However, nowadays, the judge disguised as our assistants, and it constantly points out what is wrong with basically everything around us. As you can imagine, the judge caused a lot of our negative emotions, such as guilt, shame, feeling not good enough, constantly comparing, making assumptions of other people. The judge is there every day. Another really prominent saboteur that a lot of us can identify with nowadays is the restless. That is something that I personally have worked a lot with. Restless comes with this playful, always busy, must keep busy, looking for the next shiny new things attitudes. The restless find it very difficult to sit still and focus on one thing, and is always jumping from one thing to another. The people around the restless often feel like, I cannot catch up with this person. He's always on to the next things. Another thing about the restless is what we typically know as FOMO, fears of missing out. Because we always think there's something better happening elsewhere, but not here. So if you are being hijacked by the restless, you typically are not present and you are looking for something else other than where you are at and what you have at the moment. Notice the word that I just used, hijack. And that is such an accurate description of how we're being manipulated by our saboteurs. Here's another example of saboteurs. The avoider, and we all understand that's the procrastinator. Imagine you have an interviews coming up and you know this is very important, a great opportunity in fact, but you're feeling so nervous. And when you're being hijacked by your saboteurs, the avoider, you started to come up with things to procrastinate. You give yourself reasons not to attend these interviews. Maybe you are not ready for the interview. Maybe the job is not good enough for me. Or maybe I am not ready for the jobs, etc. Ultimately, you talk yourself out of the interviews. But if you are not hijacked by the saboteurs, if you have an understanding of that voice that you hear doesn't mean that that's you, then you would have gone to the interview, might get the job, and might really benefit and enjoy the jobs. As you can see, when we are not aware and being controlled by our saboteurs, there is huge consequences in our lives and actually stops us living a happy and fulfilling life. So how do we work with our saboteurs? Like I said at the start of this video, since they are the permanent guests in our house, we want to treat them with respect and understanding. We first try to understand who they are and what they're here for. Aside from the master saboteurs, the judge, there are actually 9 of them, and it's very helpful for you to learn who your top saboteurs are. As you can see from the chart, each of them comes with their own motivations and style. After taking the assessment and identified your top saboteurs, you can start to pay attention how you are being hijacked and when you're being hijacked by your saboteurs. It will be very helpful for you to journal and really to study to also pay attention how other people's triggers your saboteurs. There's a lot of interactions in our daily life, and sometimes some of them particularly evoke in the saboteurs in us. So pay attention to the kind of conversation, the situation that you are in. Maybe your top saboteur shows up prominently right before an important meeting. Maybe your saboteurs comes out when you are having a conversation with your mom. Or maybe when you're dealing with a very difficult client, your saboteurs will basically run the show for you. It is always crucial to have that self-awareness first for you to work with them. So a brilliant indicator that you are being hijacked by your saboteurs is whenever you are feeling negative emotions. So here is a great exercise for you. Next time, when you are feeling angry, frustrated, or stressed out, just know you are being hijacked by your saboteurs. So whatever your feelings and whatever the voices that you're hearing, just know they are temporary and it doesn't mean that's who you are. It is so important to separate our own identities with what the saboteurs is telling us. And in my next video, I'm going to introduce another useful way to combat our saboteurs, and that is to evoke our sage power. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next week. Bye.